Welcome back, Fresh Baked, to this week's construction update. Today we've got updates on Finding Nemo, some observable progress at Pelican Landing, and the Fantasmic fountain refurb. There's weekly progress at Toon Town, our first sign of something new at the upcoming Plaza Pointe holiday shop, a seemingly ready-to-go Big Thunder Mountain, and finally an update on our previous reporting of Web Slingers going standby. All this coming up next on Fresh Baked. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Fresh Baked. Our construction updates continue this week, and we'll begin with an interesting update from the Finding Nemo subs. When we checked in last, walls were up around the Finding Nemo subs stating that the attraction would resurface in the winter of 2021. Well, it looks like they had some new signs made. These new signs say the subs will return in the winter. Of course, the inference being that we're now looking at January or February for 2022 rather than December of 2021. And by the look of these fountains taken by Freddie from Batu, it may be because they're really giving it a lot of attention. This first shot shows the lagoon completely drained, and the sub in the picture is behind scaffolding, so it's possible they're being worked on in dock. Not sure if that's a thing or not, for the subs that is. We've got bags full of something. I don't know what's in there. Here's another angle with a look at some of the sea life attached to the rocks. Scaffolding around this area as well, which suggests they may be getting new paint. That's my guess. And it's true that the color fades on these things pretty quickly. They were just repainted. The whole lagoon was repainted during that last refurb. Actually, an event that marked the beginning of my infatuation with Disney dirt. Actually, that's where the term dirt first was uttered by Fresh Baked. But that wasn't that long ago in Disney years. Not long at all. Here's a look at the tracks at the dock, I think. And the subs are in dry dock as well. So yes, they could be getting some work done here for sure. Now, let's go to the Rivers of America next for a look at Pelican Landing. The concrete work is moving along pretty briskly. Let's see if we can figure out what they're building here. It's one long stretch of concrete going from Harbor Galley to an area that they cut out here midway. Gotta figure that's some kind of access point, an entry or an exit maybe. You know what? I don't have any idea. One thing that we know is that it's going up. They're building up because of the footings, this being one of them. They were put in a couple weeks ago, and they're, for as I'm told, for something fairly substantial. They were good-sized footings. And while I look at that, I'm wondering now why there is that sort of jaggedness of the concrete there. We saw the forms a couple of weeks ago setting that pattern. Does anybody know if that means anything? Like, is that just a design choice, or is there function to that? We'll check again next week, as I expect these things to keep moving quickly. But for now, let's back up a bit on the river and check on the Fantasmic fountain. On Tuesday, it looked like this, as we have seen it for the past few weeks. But on Saturday, it looked like this. Are they done? Maybe? The area had been filled with water before, and then they emptied it again, so it doesn't necessarily mean that they're done. You can see, look at that, you can see bubbles there at 3 different points. It could be them testing some part of the mechanism, getting ready to surface, getting ready to go underwater again, getting ready to drain, maybe getting ready to function the fountains. I'm not sure. Toon Town is next, and we'll look at how things are going with the repaving of the entrance. It's a lot more involved than the other side. They built a wall. There was a railing there before, but not a wall, right? I'm not crazy, am I? And it's fairly significant. It takes up a good, 5 or 6 feet of width on that side of the path. I don't know what function that's for. I mean, they're definitely creating a definition there, a separate path. Or so, I don't know. Man, that's interesting. It looks like they're also rebuilding the planter over there in the back by the Small World gift shop. When they first started working on this side of the path, it was still intact. Stone facade and green railing, everything was there. Now it has new concrete and no green railing. Hard to say for sure, but it looks like they're making it bigger. Actually, I am pretty sure, because before it had kind of a slowly rounding edge that ended around where those 2 pillars are at the Small World gift shop. But now it's got this sort of like tongue-like extension that goes well past those pillars. So it looks like they've appended that section actually to the existing planter. This is the kind of thing that interests me because surely it's got some sort of, I don't know, social engineering purpose. They're trying to accomplish something with this new design because you wouldn't just do this randomly. There's no need. Nobody was asking for a different shaped planter in front of the Small World Mall or Small World gift shop. So what function is this new addition to that planter trying to serve? I'm not expecting an answer. I'm just curious. I wish I knew. It's kind of interesting because there is intent there. Anyway, let's go check out Runaway Railway. A little more steel on the building facade than last time we were checked, looking more and more like the standard rolling green hills we've seen in Toon Town. Meanwhile, over the wall, they've made a fair amount of progress, it looks like, since our last peek. More steel on the roof. Looks like they may have closed things up a bit in the rear of the building. It looks finished in the back. Well, not finished, but closed off anyway in the back of that area. All right, let's keep going. How about Big Thunder Mountain? It is scheduled for a November 5th return, but it sure seems like they could reopen at any minute because there's no real signs of any active work going on. I haven't even seen them testing for a minute. The only scaffolding that I could find on our last visit was around that the water tower in the middle of the queue. But even that's something that they could do while the ride was functioning. So I don't think that's what's holding anything up. You can see that there's trains parked and ready at the station. They even turned the water back on, which is a welcome sight. No water in where there should be. It breaks my heart. Anytime I see that at any kind of Disney attraction, I'm like, I miss the water. Anyway, it looks ready to go. So I certainly expect Disney to be on time with this one. That is November 5th. Timing, though, for the new Plaza Pointe holiday shop on Main Street is up in the air. We were there on Saturday and saw some new stenciling on the windows. And that's pretty much the extent of the visible work so far. You'll see similar stenciling like this, on all the windows. I'm curious, though, how close they are inside. Because if you look at the calendar, they have the photo supply company closed on the 16th and then nothing for the 17th, which makes me think they might be open on the 17th. But there's been no update for Disney. Stay tuned as usual. And with that, we'll close with an operational update. In a video last week, we reported that Web Slingers was going to begin testing standby in the late afternoons, per the report that we received between 4 and 6 p.m. So I went to the park on Friday night to see if that was the case, and it was not. They were still very much in virtual queue mode. I was told by CM that the wording of the update was not quite accurate. He said that they are going to be testing standby, but there is no fixed schedule, and that they would be doing so only when there was a lapse in demand, like on a rainy day or something like that. But, he considered what was happening on this day, this crowd, to definitely not be a lapse in demand, that there were still quite a few virtual queues that they had to get through. Now, I think that the assumption was that I guess you have to clear the entire virtual queue system before you start standby, which makes sense. But I do feel like, because the update said that if they were running standby, but you had a virtual queue appointment, they were going to be doing both as a hybrid of some kind. I don't know. I don't know which is more accurate. If the guy the guy that I spoke to was correct in saying just on a rainy day or something like that, or if Disney does have a specific intent to test standby. I don't know which is more accurate. So we'll be sure to check as often as we're able to and report back to you guys. But I do kind of feel like it's more likely that they would not test standby. It's more likely that they would continue using the virtual queue exclusively, unless it's a very exceptional day. That is, I think it's more likely that they wouldn't go standby if they're going to make Web Slingers a premium Lightning Lane, which they are. I think that if they made it standby, my gut says the wait wouldn't warrant buying it. But if it's virtual queue and you miss your shot at it, first thing in the morning or whatever, if they do sell out within an hour or whatever, then it's possible. I do think that creates more demand for Lightning Lane. I do think. But we'll see. And that's it this week, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked, on Twitter at FreshBakedDisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok at FreshBakedDisney. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked.
Unstable plots ahead. Again, right? Sorry. Elevating threat level to legit crazy. Yeah, that sounds right. Start swinging.
Oh, we're at Mission Breakout.
Take the yellow power cell off those rods.
The yellow power cell.
Losing consciousness in 3, 2, 1.
Whoa, that was close.
Spider-Man, the threat level's at the worst thing ever. What? Also, the giant boss survived. What? Those chain reactions did work.
Wait, the green bots explode. If we intentionally hit those green bots, maybe we'll trigger a chain reaction.
Green bots.
Stop them.
I've got an idea. We did it! I can't believe the chain reaction thing worked. You guys were amazing.
I'm very impressed, Spider-Man. You really solved the